we've seen over the last several years is this push away from the dollar hegemony. And look, the fact that we told the world and Saudi Arabia that we are going green and wrote an executive order attesting to that is something that people need to understand is arguably the beginning of the end of the petrodollar as we know it. And I don't think people quite understand the ramifications of it.
Andy Schectman, a seasoned financial expert, paints a vivid picture of the shifting global economic landscape. He highlights the significant move away from dollar hegemony, marking a pivotal shift in global financial power structures. As Schectman delves deeper, he introduces the concept of logarithmic decay, a gradual yet accelerating shift leading to a potential economic precipice. This idea, likened to going over a waterfall, suggests an imminent, dramatic shift in global currency dynamics. Particularly intriguing is Saudi Arabia's recent alliances, signaling a major realignment in global economic relationships. This sets the stage for an exhilarating exploration of how these changes might radically reshape our financial world. Now let's hear Andy Schectman.
I mentioned to you offline, I'm very fond of a term called logarithmic decay, which speaks to little by little by little by little by little, then all at once. It's almost like going over a waterfall where you see the pitch of the water starting to get steeper and steeper and steeper until you fall off the cliff. And so I'm not saying that this is going to happen today or tomorrow. It could, but what I am saying is that we are witnessing little by little by little by little by little the chipping away at the dollar hegemony. I mean, let's look at the fact that, for example, every single OPEC country, all of them, are on the Chinese Belt Road and Rail Initiative, the largest infrastructure project in human history. Let's look at the fact that Saudi Arabia indeed did just join BRICS and was formally admitted 2 days ago. Let's look at the fact that Saudi Arabia did indeed join the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, which is the largest regional financial and military organization on the planet. And they joined the BRICS New Development Bank. You can see where they're going, but what became very provocative to me is what we are witnessing here right now. And that is they told the folks at the World Bank meeting earlier this year that, yeah, you know what, we are interested in listening to other countries who want to buy oil in other currencies. And this is a very, very big deal. And when you look at the coalition of countries, so you mentioned the size of the BRICS in and of themselves right now, it's growing in significance. In fact, this year alone, the BRICS countries are responsible for more GDP globally than are the G7. Just a little bit, but it's beginning and growing, as is their union. But when you put together these groups, the Belt Road Initiative, which as in and of itself is responsible for close to 75% of human population and 50% of global GDP, along with the Shanghai Cooperation Organization and the Eurasian Economic Union, who the president of Belarus says needs to all join BRICS because they're largely the same countries with the same goals and ambitions. And you put that together with BRICS, you're talking the majority of human population, north of 85% of human population, the majority of global GDP, the two of the three largest nuclear arsenals on the planet, and the stranglehold on the majority of the world's natural resources, energy in particular. So yeah, this is a big deal, Michelle, and it's not one to take lightly as far as I'm concerned.
Andy Schectman sheds light on the dramatic shift away from dollar dominance in global economics, emphasizing the strategic moves of OPEC and BRICS nations. Highlighting Saudi Arabia's recent alliances and the potential for oil trading in alternative currencies, Schectman uncovers a significant shift in global financial power. This revelation sets the stage for an even deeper exploration of how resource-rich BRICS countries could challenge established economic norms and introduce a new era of commodity-based currencies. If you are new here and enjoy this video so far, make sure you hit the subscribe button for more. It is free, and you can always change your mind.
And when you look at the countries that have been admitted, there, as you mentioned, there's actually 20 countries that have formally applied and up to another 20 that have informally applied. Every single one of them has one thing in common for sure, and that is they are very, very rich in natural resources, in particular energy or the rare earth metals needed to make batteries or precious metals or all of the above, and also very, very, very tied into strategic shipping lanes like the Red Sea, like the Straits of Hormuz. And if these countries that are on the list actually do become BRICS members, they will control the Straits of Hormuz and the Red Sea, and they will control very strategic shipping lanes. And they have the new BRICS Naval Alliance, where a lot of these countries are banding together to patrol the Indian Ocean and perhaps ultimately the Red Sea, where, you have the U.S. Navy, who's been doing all of that heavy lifting for a while. But ironically, whether you're talking the Belt Road Initiative or you're talking the BRICS, I think the president of Iran said it best. He says the most important problem is represented by three issues. The first is energy production. Okay, they got that covered. The second is energy transfer. Okay, got that covered. That's the shipping lanes and whatnot. And the third is energy consumption. And when you talk about these three issues, he says BRICS has solved that. And they are indeed, this is their very methodical plan where they're doing it little by little by little by little by little. Look, Jim Rickards is a man I respect a lot, Michelle, and he made the statement this last summer that in the meeting in Johannesburg that he would expect two things to happen, both of which I agree with, mind you. One, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization and the Eurasian Economic Union would join BRICS. Well, the president of Belarus is calling for a summit to do just that. Didn't happen in August. You got a little pushback. That's okay. The second thing he talked about was that they would issue a common settlement currency. Now, the difference between a settlement currency and a reserve currency is you can trade in something, but when you have excess, what do you do with it? So it's always gone into U.S. Treasuries, the most stable liquid market in the world, although that hasn't worked out so well for them over the last year or two. But the bottom line is simply this. I think that there will indeed, because that didn't come to fruition, so the finance ministers were tasked with going back to the drawing board and coming back to the meeting in Russia in October and presenting their findings. It will happen. After all, gold was reclassified the only other tier 1 asset in the world by the BIS in 2019. And lo and behold, is it a coincidence that the world's central banks, largely these countries that we're talking about, have bought more gold over the last 2 years than any time in central bank history? There will be a moment, just like the Russian finance ministers promised us, where they issue a common settlement currency, and I think it will be pegged to commodities using blockchain technology to show the veracity and the immutability.
In conclusion, Andy Schectman's insights offer a profound understanding of the global economic shifts, particularly the declining dominance of the dollar. This evolving landscape, marked by strategic alliances and changing power dynamics, heralds significant implications for the future of global finance, underscoring the importance of staying informed and adaptable.